I think we're actually recording
That
this
last
time.
video was pretty low energy. Maybe do better this time.
Hello and welcome, adventurers. I'm Ron, one of the game masters here, and you have found your way to the realms of adventure. Today, I'm going to do a campaign diary sort of recap thing. Uh, ShadowDark, session number 4, Curse of the Beastmen. Ran it on 12/13 of 2025, so just last month. And I had all 6 players there. We had Denton, the dwarf fighter, Van Hagar, the human fighter, Ralia, our elf priestess, Human, the human thief, Ithor, our elf wizard, and Jack Mule, our human fighter. All 6 of them were there. The setup for this one is pretty simple. I do not remember if it happened at the table or if it was part of one of the other games. Maybe it was part of a text. But Mike asked, all these beastmen, the Minotaur, was it a curse or a ritual that caused their transformation? Like, is it some sort of lycanthropy? Is it something we need to worry about? To which I did not answer because, yeah, it sounds like maybe it is something they should worry about. And um, I don't know. Maybe. Depends. We'll just see how that plays out. It's one of those things where the players say something and you're like, I'm going to use that. Anyway, don't want to go through all the pregame nonsense that went on. I probably did a recap. I don't remember. Everybody was there. I think we just dove right into it. I don't remember if I gave them any rumors or anything, but they just kicked the adventure off. So they returned to the back door of the Lost Citadel. Crawlers this time headed right at the bottom of the stairs. Last time they went left. The passage split, and ahead was an empty room, exited only by a stairwell up. The crawlers didn't follow the path, but instead went toward the stone door down a short side passage and found themselves in a funnel shaped room that led to a wide run that didn't seem to have a bronze bull anywhere to be seen. From high above, a quartet of floating black octopus with rows of red eyes and webbed skirt of um, like between the tentacles descended upon them from high above. And more accurately, it descended on the light. They wanted to put the light out and restore the darkness. Anyway, the fight against these dark mantles was short. The light was lost once, I believe, but was quickly restored. And these things don't have any treasure, so the reward was simply they survived to fight again. Now, they followed that run, and it ended with a corner that led to another run that extended south beyond the character's light. But the near wall showed pairs of deep holes, chipped stonework, and the floor showed evidence of a bronze statue existing at the far end of the run. So they can't see it, but the holes are there, the stone is cracked, the floor is worn. They've seen that stuff before. They know what's in the dark. Somewhere in that horrible darkness beyond the light. Across the way, though, across that run, gonna have to go right across it, is a stone door, and it's screaming at them. Come over here, check it out. This is gonna be great. The first character slipped to the door without triggering the ball, but the door was stuck and they needed help to get it open, and that help triggered the ball. And the great bronze beast tore through them in a rush with horn and hoof, smashed the wall, and then trotted back into the darkness. Uh, when Heralia came to tend the wounded, because there were some wounded, I think somebody might have gone down. Um, was it was it Jack? No, it wasn't Jack. It might have been Van Hager. Somebody went down. Heralia had to come and tend the wounds, and that thing came charging again because it basically trotted down to the other end, reset. They tricked it again, and it made a second charge. So Ithor managed to blast it. I think he got a nat 20, but he got the emerald with a magic missile. It dispelled the ensorcelled statue, and it collapsed. So they took the broken emerald out of it. They forced the door open and made it through the chamber beyond, and they got another shattered emerald. They're collecting these things. It's worth probably about 20 gold pieces. Not worth much because they broke it. Beyond the door, they found a room easily 30 feet across in either direction, a pair of doors on the far wall, and a trio of alcoves in both of the walls to the left and the right. Within each alcove was a square black plinth holding a simple terracotta bowl. The plinths were unadorned, but each of the 6 bowls was stamped with a seal showing a warrior kneeling in a black rain, arms and mouth open to the sky. Hugh, because it's always Hugh, filled one of the bowls with water and drank from it, but received no boon from his action. His stomach didn't appreciate it. I think I made him save versus Constitution just because, I don't know, just seemed like a thing to do. Anyway, his stomach didn't appreciate it and protested mightily. The action that he did take was that he put the water in it, he drank from it, and then the bowl just crumbled into uselessness. But he didn't get any boon from it, so they ignored the remaining bowls as they all seemed to be identical. And the group moved through the rightmost door in the far wall, their map showing them that the left door would take them back to the Gauntlet of Pain. None of them wished to experience that particular feature again. Symbol on the map drew them first to the ancient bathhouse, where 6 human-sized, smooth stone basins adorned with coiling snake carvings and stone plugs wedged into the drains lined the walls in 2 rows. The symbol on the map turned out to be a life-size statue of a snake-haired woman with her arms raised and her mouth open in a scream. That's not creepy at all. Okay, it's super creepy. Hugh determined that turning the hinged arms down, because the arms were hinged, if you pull them down, causes scalding water to spew from the mouth, and doing so is enough, apparently, to disturb the denizens beneath the stone basins because a little scarab swarm started. There was a chittering, buzzing sound that became louder as the stone plugs wedged in the drains began to work themselves loose, and this released a swarm of iridescent oval shaped beetles that rose from the drains in a cloud and descended on the crawlers. You can't effectively fight bugs, so retreat was quickly decided on as the appropriate action, and the door was sealed behind them once they were out, and then they dealt with the remaining few beetles that were, you know, tucked up underneath armor and under hats and in boots and what, you know how bugs are. They're terrible. Bugs are terrible. Back in the maze, they began searching for a concealed door that they suspected led to an inaccessible area indicated on their map. This led them to what had probably been the robing chamber for the users of the baths. There they found the walls decorated with a chipped mosaic of cavorting dolphins. 4 musty, rotten white robes hung on pegs, and pinned to the wall, hands clasping a spear jutting from its rib cage was a skeleton of one of the deceased warrior priests. The skeleton wore, the decaying crimson dyed leather armor. A bronze short sword was hanging from its belt. The skeleton's tattered boots were like 3 feet above the floor, and it was held aloft by this bronze spear tip driven deep into the stone with inhuman force. The crawlers also they found a bronze key in one of the robes, and once they managed to pull the spear from the stone and out of the skeleton, they saw that it was basically undamaged and glimmering as if new. I did a thing wrong. I'm letting you know that, but they don't know that. So I'm going to tell you that I thought this spear was one of the 3 weapons that are in the citadel that you're supposed to find. It's not, but not knowing that, because I didn't read far enough ahead or remember, I gave it some attributes. And so, as far as they're concerned, it is that spear because it is Radiance, the doom of the elders. Just a regular old +1 bronze spear with the feature that it's got a faint ghostly aura, and like the benefits are that it shoots a bolt of energy that you can use like dexterity with to like a d6 of damage or something. Just like it's a range weapon. It's a ray gun, is what it is. It does have a little bit of a curse though. You have to burn a straw effigy, a little doll, every day, or the weapon will lose its magic. They also took the bronze short sword because, if the spear is magic, maybe the sword is, but it's not. It's just an old bronze short sword. From this chamber, a stairwell descended into the blinding cave where they found all the Ettercap victims. Uh, and also, it leads to the Ettercap lair. They didn't want to go that way. So they also did find though the concealed door that they had been looking for, and they chose to go through that pivoting door when they heard the sounded like the approach of the spider folk, like the ettercaps were moving around, and it sounded like they might have been coming this way. So they went through the concealed door and coming through into this hidden hall, they found themselves assaulted by the eye-watering stench, the smells of stale air and urine and decay and animal filth, stale air, and a detritus of rat bones and centipede husks. And there was a bit of action with everyone trying to stay in the light as they split the party. So, like, we got the guy with the light, and we got some folks going this way, some folks going that way, and everybody right at the edge of the light trying to do stuff because to the north, they faced another chittering green centipede, the size of a horse. As big around or as long? Doesn't matter. We're not going to deal with that. It's the size of a horse. Envision that any way you want. Only with the telltale grasping tentacles coated with paralytic venom. The cave creeper caught them off guard as they explored, and of course, a fight ensued. To the west, up a flight of stairs, 3 ragged, gray furred beastmen stood in the middle of a large room, conferring in a harsh whisper. Whisper, whisper, in a harsh whisper. You know what I'm trying to say here. What am I trying to say here? The cave creeper, they put that down. I think 2 of them basically ganged up on it. It might have been 3. I don't remember. But they took the cave creeper down. The beastmen were killed, including one of them that tried to run away. They took him down. And the door was secured, the secret door was secured against the Ettercap, so nobody would get surprised by that. And then they looked around and realized that this hidden hall was an observation post. There were at least two secret doors, a pair of spy holes, and who knows what was down the hall the Beastman was headed for. Probably another secret door. I mean, he's probably trying to escape, so that seems logical. They didn't bother to check, though. Instead, they went through the other secret door visible from this side of the wall. It's secret on the other side. Inside the hidey hole, you could see it just fine. You know what I'm saying. This is not rocket science. So they didn't bother to check. Instead, they went through the other secret door visible from this hidey hole and found themselves in the warrior priest's armory. The armory was easily identified by the splintered wooden racks and alcoves, some of which still contained arms and armor. Most were empty or held broken weapons. There was a serviceable red shield with a black bull painted on it and three brass spears still in the racks. Different racks, or racks all over the place, I imagine. A bronze dagger was stuck in the stone wall by its point, and the entire space bore scorch marks and scratches, and perhaps most disturbingly, deep sweeping gouges at chest and head height throughout the room. And there were skeletons, tangled heaps of gaping skeletons scattered across the floor. 12 skeletons in total, some cut completely in half, others separated from their limbs, tatters of red dyed armor and shattered shields and bent bronze short swords were strewn about all along with the bones. Our crawlers scavenged through the remains. Occasionally, one of the skeletons would nearly rise but collapse back into dust at the effort. But it was during this search that the white rose up from the carnage. The pale, armored, undead warrior wore a gold scarab upon its chest, and its eyes gleamed with a sinister intelligence. They absolutely mopped the floor with it. And then they grabbed its treasure, because, that's what they're here for. They beat the hell out of this thing, grabbed the scarab that was on its chest. Turned out it was a scarab of protection, a brooch made from a horned scarab beetle dipped in gold. Basically, if you die, you make a constitution save or a constitution check. I don't think there's any saves per se in ShadowDark. So you make a constitution check, and if you succeed, you're unconscious instead of dead. They didn't see a lot of value in that. They sold it, which you'll see when we get to the carousing part. They sold it and they made decent cash off of it. I think I gave them $300 on the black market for it. I don't $300. Yeah, $300. 300 gold pieces, I think is what I gave them. I don't really remember. I might have given them more than that. I honestly don't remember. But they also, I believe they took the shield and the spears and the dagger, even though the dagger had been stuck in the wall. It's still, I checked for magic. It wasn't magic, but they took it. So they had done and seen enough at this point. They decided to follow their map and head for the fresh air and light of the outside world. To this point, they had crawled half the citadel, if the map Muggins' green bottle gave them was to be trusted. They've done half of it. The eastern half. They killed the Minotaur. They found three weapons of power, and it had only cost them the lives of two of their companions. So there was some reason to celebrate. So they went back to Corvin's Crest, and they spent 300 gold pieces on carousing, which I believe is the third tier. I think it's 30, 100, 300, which gets them, well, let's see what it gets them. Let me read what I've written. Flush with the spoils of their foray into the lost citadel, and with many an exploit to engorge, our band of crawlers splurged 300 gold pieces on 2 days of crawling every tavern, saloon, and booze tent in Corvin's Crest to sing, buy rounds, and celebrate themselves and their adventures. Heralia led an entire tavern in a wildly insulting song about Lady Jasmine of Westrook, a disliked noble of the area, which was overheard and noted by the dwarven bard. This is wrong here, so I have to go over here. Georgina. I should probably also change this. You're going to watch me change this live on camera. I know it's very, very exciting. You're like, oh my goodness, so great. Wow, he's typing. Cool. Anyway, the dwarven bard Georgina and became friends and allies after performing that particular ditty many times and for many drinks, all around the market district together. So that gives her like an ally, which they haven't done much with their allies, but they are racking them up. And she got 4 experience on top of what they earned in the Citadel. And I know you're wondering, and I don't remember, so I can't tell you how many experience they got. Ithor through. All right, what happened with Ithor? I didn't write it down on my notes. So I got to go from memory. And I know that it was by talent he beat a rival crawler from Death Sentinels, one of them, and I rolled on it, and I remember which one it is, or I don't remember which one it is, but I know it was one of them. He beat them in a test of skill. I don't remember what the skill was. I think I asked him. I don't remember the answer, but it was worth 5 XP. And that particular crawler from the rival group is now also an ally. Again, we're racking up the allies, but we haven't done anything with them yet. Van Hagar and Denton overdid it just a bit and both woke up in a market district gutter with about 15% of their total wealth spent. And they got 3 XP out of the deal. So not a total loss. Cost them some money, but you know what? Van Hagar's got the sword that doesn't let him carry any gold anyway, so he never has much money. So that's perfect for him. Hugh Man had words with Liana the Channeler, and that particular angry wizard cast a deadly spell at him, which he was able to reflect off of his cup without spilling a drop, much to the delight of the other patrons at the tavern. That gets him 5 XP and a luck token. And lastly, Jack Mule continued his streak and survived yet another blindfolded knife throwing demonstration, unscathed and, mind you, without wounding or killing his opponent. So, 4 XP for him and also a luck token. And that is how we wrapped things up for session number 4 of ShadowDark. I think it went well. I think everybody had fun. We got a lot done. And I tried to tighten up the report because they're getting very long. But I've got to let you go because I'm still behind and I need to get to working on episode 5. So come back for that. I'll be looking for you. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great, I already said have a great day. You know. Thanks.
Nicely played. I didn't know how you'd handle that, but you did great, stayed in character, and made it fun for everyone.